And the news for March the 13th, 2014. Today, in Austin, Texas, where South by West has been being for the last several days, on Wednesday, along with our partner in crime for Freedom Media, Alex Jones, known as the InfoWars Show, had his crew out there about walking around asking people what they felt about guns. According to Blumenberg's report, who I call Blooming Turd because everything he comes out with is really unreasonable and really evil, just legislation. It was sponsored in part by the global banks if you go to their website, and also was sponsored in large part to Blooming Turd. His anti-gun rally only had about 5 to 7 people. I said 5 to 7 people, not 7,500, but 5 to 7 people that came for his support. For people that are in favor for guns, there were over 5,000 people that came to the gun walkout rally where they carried their guns openly downtown in Austin, Texas, freely. And they were able to carry. Of course, they had to be unloaded, of course. No bullets in the chassis or magazines or clips were allowed. However, they were allowed to carry the guns pointing to the ground, however, strapped openly and freely without no problems from the local police in Austin, Texas. I think it's wonderful. That's a victory. In Harlem, New York, this is coming from the DeFranco show. I want to give you a little excerpt from his show because it talks about what happened in Harlem. They do believe that some fatalities were there, and there were some people that were injured in Harlem, New York, and several buildings were knocked down due to a loud explosion. I'm going to let him tell you the story because we do this a little bit to promote other podcasts too as well. Listen.
Said the Flappy Bird app may be coming back to stores, and I don't think anyone really cares. Maybe some people do, but
the Philip DeFranco show.
Remember the stories? The creator of the app was reportedly making maybe $50,000 a day because of it. Then he got really overwhelmed, said that people were addicted to it, he was freaking out, and he removed the app from the App Store, which resulted in both people threatening his life and 1,000,001 copycats of Flappy Bird. Some of those apps living as the top downloaded app for several days at a time. More interestingly, some of the apps actually seem better built and stable. All that really changed was whose money the pocket was going into. It's the business example of being in a relationship and you shouting at your soon-to-be ex, "You don't even appreciate me. I'm gonna walk out that door and you're gonna realize all the things you miss." And then they literally miss 0 things because you're not a unique snowflake. So the main point of the story is if you ever feel overwhelmed by the internet, don't access the internet and continue making $50,000
You big dummy.
And in very sad news, you may have heard about the explosion and collapse of several buildings in New York. The explosion happened in East Harlem at around 9:14 in the morning, and possibly because the verbiage being used on mainstream media, or the mainstream media has really trained us to think about anything bad happening in New York or anything with planes as terrorism. But that does not look like the case. Con Edison tweeted, "Report of gas odor at 1652 Park came at 9:13 from a resident. 2 Con Edison crews were dispatched at 9:15 and arrived just after the explosion." At a press conference this morning, the mayor said the explosion was caused by a gas leak and the residents had no warning in advance. He confirmed that there have been 2 deaths and that several people remain missing. 250 firefighters are still battling with a 5-alarm fire, and Con Ed is working to shut down all gas lines in the area. Our thoughts definitely go out to those affected by this, and hopefully those people that are missing are accounted for soon. And the last thing I want to talk about today is not the Malaysian aircraft that is still missing, because there is still so much misinformation out there. So I'll update you when it's not just a talking head on TV trying to scare people into some weird story. Because that last thing I do want to talk about today, Ukraine, Crimea, and Russia. Because we have Ukraine's acting president saying they will not try and take back Crimea, stating, "We cannot launch a military operation in Crimea, as we would expose the eastern border and Ukraine would not be protected." Adding, "Unfortunately for now, Russia is rejecting a diplomatic solution to the conflict. They are refusing all contact to foreign ministry and top government level." Finally saying, "They're provoking us now to have a pretext to intervene on the Ukrainian mainland, but we will not follow the scenario written by the Kremlin." And that may be the case. It's so interesting to see all these pictures coming out of these maybe Russian soldiers who are not officially Russian soldiers. Then you see troops under Russian command aiming their weapons at just unarmed Ukrainian soldiers. And then finally we have the leaders of the G7 group of nations warning.
Okay, so there you go. That's from Phil DeFranco. And this is the Freedom Network. And of course that was the news for March the 13th, 2014. And of course we'll be sending you up another update. That's Phil DeFranco right there. And go to his podcast, download his show. He's a good guy. He reports on a lot of stuff. And if you like to look at girls, they show some girls in swimming suits and bikinis sometimes on here. So, guys, if you like that, you can see that too as well. And link to his links down below. He's Phil DeFranco. And you can find out all about the latest news and also scoops that are going on and gossip things if you're into that. I just mainly watch him for the news. But anyway, steering to another direction, we're going to be talking about freedom. There was a major assault today that a lot of these groups are going after all our freedoms, as you know it. Freedoms that are, really, they're really going after all of them. And if we lose our guns, they certainly will take the rest of them. So it's more important that, folks, you get up off your sofa and get up off the TV and the video game consoles and really go and fight this thing. Start by showing peaceful protest in your area, speaking out at meetings in towns and cities where you live, even if they threaten you to arrest you. And if you get arrested, you're only in jail for one night. So, go to those meetings. Don't be a coward. Don't be a heel. But go and speak up. Show your spine. Show your balls. Go in there and, tell them that you don't want these things. Tell them you want fluoride out of the water. Tell them you don't want aspartame and all sugar-free stuff and diet sodas. Tell them, because it's messing up people. It's actually killed some people. It almost killed my cousin Sherry. So, could have killed her. So, what I'm saying is this stuff is pretty serious stuff. So if you are buying diet drinks, please stop, because aspartame is in it and it could kill you, and it could cause you to have heart problems and tumors and everything else. So, just buy the regular stuff and just drink smaller portions of it. And you'll still have the same effect without always have to drink more like you do in diet sodas. And you won't have to worry about having heart disease, or at least a lower risk, at least anyway, or tumors developing or having an allergic reaction to it if you're on some certain medications. Okay? So this is in the news. It's Michael DeSolis. I hope you have a nice day. Stay strong. Remember to subscribe down below. Subscribe down below this video. Please subscribe down below. I'll see you tomorrow with another update. Bye for now.